People think, oh yeah, we need gender equality because this will get girls into STEM subjects, which is true. But even more important than that, we need gender equality so that boys won't be violent. There's a wonderful charity based in Edinburgh called Zero Tolerance, which is teaching gender equality to childminders so that they can teach children that they're equal, they have equal opportunities, and they do it specifically to reduce violence from men to women when they're adults. We need to start much earlier than men.
OK, Milo, you want to come in?
Unbelievable, astonishing sexism. We have to teach young boys not to be boys so they won't be violent.
Why is being violent being...
Get out! Get out! I'm sorry. Like, gender, we teach boys and girls that they're the same, and that's a problem. They are different. When we do experiments on young babies and even on related animals, we know that certain children go for certain toys. Boys and girls are different. To give you some context for all of this, you have to understand a little bit about the history of feminism. There have been two main strands.
And here is our local expert.
Well, yes. Of course, because of course men aren't allowed to speak about anything that isn't to do with men, except no one's really interested in.
Let him talk. Already said indicate that you know nothing about
all right, well,
it.
I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the problems that men are experiencing in society. And since you're not a man, perhaps you could like to give it a rest for a second. So there is a wider context in which men are suffering slightly. Even 10 years ago, it would have been ridiculous to say it. But very recently, we've seen a lot of structural advantages to being a woman crop up in education, in the workplace. Under 30, women earn more than men for the same work in the UK and the US now, which is an extraordinary statistic and something that people have to be very, very carefully convinced of because it sounds absurd. But there is a sense in which men, particularly young men, probably men our age, haven't necessarily experienced it, but younger men, 20-year-olds, there's an enormous problem. I read about this last year. I call it the sexodus of men checking out of society, checking out of relationships, giving up on women, giving up on careers. They don't bother to go to university anymore. Now more women go to university, women get higher grades at university, more women graduate from university. All of the traditional imbalances between men and women have flipped, and very recently.
No, that's
and when
incorrect,
young men,
when you go
may I be allowed to finish?
Business,
Sorry, I'm talking about men, darling.
And you call them darling? How incredibly rude. And now you think it's funny. Well, this is exactly the problem. This is institutionalised sexism, and you're just sitting here doing it flagrantly and without even apologising.
Well, we just heard that it was an essential characteristic of men that they were violent a minute ago. So
no,
I guess
we did not. Nobody
That's exactly
said
what
that.
you said.
Nobody said that.
My point
That's just a lie.
So that boys won't be violent. So that boys won't be violent. So that boys won't be violent.
Essential characteristic of men that they were violent a minute ago. So
No,
I guess
we did not. That's exactly
what you said.
Nobody said that.
My point
That's just a lie.